I was going to tell a story of my first day of kindergarten. And I remember that day from my perspective, but I used to always hear how my mom would tell that story. And she had a totally different take on that story. And it was not a fun day for her because mom did not get to have one moment that she saw all the other mothers have. And I'll tell you why. So, what they had is they had all the mothers and their children line up against this one wall by the blackboard. And then one at a time, they would come forward and the mother would register the child, and then the child would have their last moment with their mom, and then the child would have to take their place somewhere in the kindergarten room. And it was all so much crying. That's all I remember is all these kids were crying and they were hanging on to their mothers, and their mothers were whispering, oh, you'll be good, you'll be a big boy, you'll be brave, you'll do okay. And they were having that last moment. And mom kind of actually looked forward to that, to sending your child off. Well, here comes to our chance. And what I had noticed as we're standing in line is there was this fire truck, little toy fire truck. Boy, it wasn't little either. It was about 4 feet long. It had ladders. It had hoses. It was a nice little toy. I'd never seen anything like this. Never in my life. It was the greatest toy I'd ever seen. And I saw a couple of boys playing with it. But then right when we finally got our turn to go up front, I noticed that those boys, they were went back to crying with their mothers. And so the toy was left open. So I'm looking at that. And so we step forward and we got to register. And I start to kind of pull away from mom when I think we're done. And mom's trying to hang on to me. And finally, mom's done signing up everything. And she brings me over to the door. Now, she thought she was going to have that moment where I would start crying, and then she would whisper in me to be brave and have, you're starting your first day of school. But instead, I'm trying to break free of mom. I'm saying, Mom, there's a fire truck. And so mom always felt bad that she was the only mother crying because she never got that moment. And she remembered that rest of my life. She would tell me that story, how she felt so bad. But I was just distracted by the toy. And that was my first day of school.